writers to understand a student's perspective, to all of our teachers, advisors, legal staff, support staff, volunteers, and board members for helping us fulfill our mission to welcome and serve immigrants. And now it is my pleasure to welcome the indefatigable, indomitable, and ever-talented Sarah Sullivan, our event chair, and tonight's organizer and MC.
Hi, everyone. Is that good? Too loud? Thank you all for being here. Catherine, Sophia, and Suzanne. And while Group A is coming up, I want to remind people on Zoom to make sure that when you read, you're close to your microphones and we can see your faces. So get excited. You can sit down, it'll be cool. Tommy's not here, so I'm gonna be reading in his place. Tommy's not here, So we have an incredibly talented group of writers. Not everyone calls themselves poets, but just beauty and community has come out of this month in so many ways. And I'm just gonna start us right off. I'll occasionally interrupt kind of rudely. And if you hear sound feedback, just can you go like that or something so I don't like to have irritating sound feedback. Again, if people want to wipe the mic afterward, there are these things here, they kill things. And I'm going to just introduce each person as it comes up. And a mentor and peer of mine, Dina Friedman, will be first on the list.
Practicing, good. Okay? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna read a poem called This City. It's in me, the core of me, this city with a dearth of trees, a surfeit of fences, this city of clenched keys ready for an attacker's eye, this city of tents fenced in with sculptures of junk, this city framed with murals, gargoyles where acrobats, string quartets perform to make a buck, this city of corner pizza, saffron and curry, good humor men in ding-dong carts and bad humor men in alleys. This city with the subway cop who asked for a fuck when I was 14. This subterranean city where dancers groove till all night long. This city of long lines where people drink wine on park blankets, listening to Shakespeare, to John playing here, singing Imagine in this city of strawberry fields, miles from unpolluted fruit. This city where each yard no bigger than a sidewalk slab has a fig tree taller than the top of its fence. This city of layers and layering that leaves me unraveled, rewrapped, unraveled again. This city of rappers where I met the love of my life in a confab of rundown poets in a rundown walk-up with no windows. This city of chandeliered pretensions, operatic tragedy, smiling bridges arcing false promises across the rivers that separate us. This city that separates me from who I am. This city that is who I am, seductive as a belly dancer's ripple, twisting its tentacles, begging for love like a misbehaving spouse. This city waiting for the rising river to lap its avenues and cover the concrete with its kiss. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Tilley. Jim was an amazing participant this year who was very generous. and he was not able to attend. So I am reading Aftermath. Why this particular Cleveland pear? What takes a cherry instead of a plum? Oversized wet flakes thick in the air.
Wow.
People are getting excited about my reading, I think. I know. Oversized wet flakes thick in the air that but for a few degrees would be rain, settle on still green leaves, accumulate, strain branches and trunks, and like people, some break. In rising wind, a night of cracking, we lie awake. At dawn, we find splintered limbs littering the lawn, whole maples down, beeches with their centers gone. The melt begins too late. Will birches continue to weep or lift themselves? Should we cut down or keep the English oak? Its tendril branches, now unfurled, no longer hug the trunk. Raised arms that swirled like a figure skater's locked in a spin hang limp. It may take years for them to fill back in. Everywhere, uprooted shrubs. What to do with a yard that a nor'easter has disfigured into a ward of fresh amputees? Move the debris out of sight into the woods? It wouldn't make things right. But we could leave the rest till spring, give the broken a certain grace, let this grief remain unspoken. So, sorry I forgot my introduction person. Next up is Katherine Jameson. Yes, thank you.
Weaving. After my aunt died and I was making dinner with her children before her funeral the next day, I opened a woven basket in the kitchen and found that a spider had spun an intricate web of intersecting planes back and forth in the darkness. The spider herself was absent, only her diaphanous handiwork remaining. I could not see this without thinking of my aunt, drinking and dying, how she had gotten sicker and sicker in her grand old home, as the spider was busy weaving in this closed and hidden place. And how life is always the doing and the undoing happening simultaneously, the creation and the destruction, just a thread apart. What could the spider have hoped to catch in the depths of the basket? Or was she trapped and simply creating as she must create, doing the only work she knew to do? If only she had been there still, poised in her web of breathtaking geometric precision. We could have taken her into the light. We could have set her free.
Thank you. Sophia Cabral. Sophia here? Ah, voila. This is one of our amazing students. Hello, thank you.
Hello, good night. My name is Sophia. I'm from Cape Verde. I have a poem about my son Ezra. I have two versions. The first one is in Portuguese and the last one is in English. Meu querido filho Ezra, você é o raiar do sol que ilumina o meu dia. Você é a inspiração e a motivação do meu viver. Você é a flor que embeleza e perfuma o meu lar. Você é a melodia que compõe qualquer canção minha. Você é tão doce, tão suave, tão forte, que só se compare à batida do coração. In English version, my dear son Ezra, you are the sunrise that brightens my day. You are the inspiration and motivation of my life. You are the flower that beautifies and perfumes my home. You are the melody that composes and song of mine. You are so sweet, so soft, and so strong. It only compares to heartbeat. The hand.
What a gift to hear that in both languages. Thank you. Suzanne Herman, you are on. You're not on deck, you're on.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to read a poem called Portrait. I don't care what tribe you're from, what religion you hold are, the nature of your work. I want to know how you love. I want to know how you look into your own eyes and how you listen to the questions inside yourself. I want to know how the sunrise speaks and the full moon turns your head. I want to know how you think through the work of your hands. I want to know how you nurture the steady pain of heartache, how you watch birds cast a shadow across the sky. I want to know how you move from your dream life to carry the world through your day. I want to know how you feel the rain on your face in the spring. I want to know how you walk through tight spaces, how you hear the cries, your own and the other. I want to know how you receive your anger and carry its rise. I want to know how you walk with your shadow. I want to know.
Okay, you guys can go back to your seat if we want. So we have our people on Zoom in Group B. If you guys need a reminder, that's Kaylin, Jane Yolen, Elizabeth Wolf, Kester, Richard Fox, and Theresa Vincent. So get on deck. And on this end, we're going to try and have everyone speaking closer to the mic also. Thank you for your feedback on Zoom. Oh, oh yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Everyone silence your phone. If you think it's silenced, it's not. Yeah, please, everyone, make sure to mute yourself. Look and see if you're muted right now. I don't see you looking. Are you looking? Look and see if you're muted. Okay, that's good, because there's always someone who's like, yeah, I'm muted. Okay, Kaylin Perez Diaz is another student, and she is here sharing her work with us, and she should be spotlighted, right? Yeah, pinned.
Can you hear me? I am here.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, because we had a little problem for here. I want to read a poem called My Brain Homeland. I want to read First now in Spanish and then I want to read in English. So. Mi valiente patria, no hay día que no piense en ti, no hay día que no te extrañe, no hay día que los recuerdos no vengan a mi mente. Te confieso que muchas noches he soñado que debería regresar, pero te veo devastada, triste y desolada. Yo siento que llenas de tristeza al ver a tus hijos emigrar. Yo te siento impotente porque no puedes liberarte del opresor. Han sido tantas las batallas que has tenido que ganar para tu libertad. A mí solo me quedan los recuerdos de mi infancia, esos momentos que nunca olvidaré, esos momentos que valen más que el oro. Cuando hablo de ti, solo digo lo valiente y esforzada que eres. Mi mayor anhelo es que vuelvas a ser libre. Nicaragua libre. My brain homeless. There is no a day that I don't think of you. There is no a day that I don't miss you. There is no a day that my memories don't come on my mind. I confess that many nights I had to dream that I should return. But I see you, devastated, sad and desolate. I feel you are filled with sadness when you see your children immigrant. I fear you are powerless because you cannot free yourself from the oppressor. There are had so many battles that you had to fight to obtain your freedom. I only had the memory of my childhood, those moments that I will never forget, those moments that are worth more than gold. When I talk about you, I only say how you brave and hard you are. And my greatest wish is for you that to be free again. Nicaragua freedom. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Jane Yolen, are you ready to follow that?
I am.
Okay, good.
That poet will be hard.
Yeah, I think you've got it in you.
I just want to say to everybody before I start reading how I always come up here to read a poem for every year that we've done this with great heart and honor for the people who have worked with you and who have made those terrible journeys here. And I honor you and your journey, which is still going on. So this is for you. This is for all of you. It's called Combustion. That is the question. Whether it is nobler.
Yeah, I'm doing the poetry reading thing.
Should I start again?
Can everyone on Zoom please check that you're muted? You're interrupting Jane Yolen. Especially the guys, because I hear a male voice, but I know it's not just a male thing. All right.
Okay,
Go, Jane.
All right, combustion. That is the question, whether it is nobler to blow your poems apart or let them languish unattended in the publisher you call a drawer. I believe in resuscitation, making resurrection, that some call revision, for it is that indeed, the poem rising like a revenant, or bread in the tempered oven, or a wave building itself out of the sea, seeing the words again, how they sit side by side, holding hands or letting go. A good poem is not just created, it is recreated on the page, in the eye, in the ear, in the mouth, and lives forever in the ready heart. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. And now Elizabeth Wolfe.
This came out of the Theresa Vincent workshop, although I could never get it into the form that she was working so hard on. So it's called My Brother as Hero, Not a Sonnet. He breezed into the room and gave his wife a kiss hello, his breath minty fresh, not from toothpaste, but a nip off the peppermint schnapps stashed in his glove box. We were in a hospital, still, sitting hospice, his wife already wearing the mask of death, the room reeked in the stench of decay, of waste, her rattling breath the core of our world. I sang Amazing Grace between repeating CDs, Enya, the changer and the changed, sopranos praising Jesus. My brother breezed in as if from running errands, as if he still saw his lovely bride stretched in the bed, and not her skeletal frame ravaged from cancer surgeries and pain, and more surgeries and more pain, delirium, the fade of hope, a crescendo of fear, and more pain, her purgatory sustained by morphine, drop by drop. He breezed in and kissed her hello, and I knew love was not only blind, but durable, tangible, even real, even though.
Oh, thank you. What a great ending. Kester Warlow-Harry is up next.
Good evening, everyone. This is a very short poem. It's called Black Olives for Lunch. Shiny olives, mauve black, no pits to hack. They split and crack, adding zing when contact with tongue, gums, plaque. Can I keep track of flavors, tingling impact of olives, mauve, shiny, black? Thank you.
Oh, we should have had appetizers for olives. Richard Fox, you there?
Yes, I am.
Richard Fox is one of us who wrote in honor of our dear friend Michael Bigner, who died this past year. So thanks for being here.
This poem's entitled Scanxiety, and it's for my people.
It's a little hard to hear you.
A little hard to hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Is that better?
Yep.
This poem's for Mikey. It's called Scanxiety. Herbicides had oil enough to light the menorah for 6 months. Miracle happened here. The flames burnt over 4 years. Lymph nodes and lungs, red blotches on pet. Lymph nodes on pelvis, red blotches on pet. Biopsies, as usual, cut and dry. Waiting, as usual. Pathology demands patience. Results, as usual. Gut punch, always bet on the Met. Oncologists sang with voice. The cancer is no longer confined to one area. The cancer is everywhere. The cancer is everywhere. The cancer is everywhere. We can no longer target malignancies with chemotherapy or radiation. A systemic approach is required. Immunotherapy. There are advantages. Infusions every 28 days instead of weekly. Few side effects. You will feel better, stronger. There are concerns. 10% of bodies cannot tolerate the treatment. We won't know for 3 or 4 months whether it's working. The growing lung nodule now 1.1 centimeters, will not be excised. Immunotherapy can neutralize it if it works. The cancer is everywhere. The cancer is everywhere. The cancer is everywhere. Mikey, greet me at the valley gates. Save me a seat on the poet's purgatory panel. Tell the Jameses, Joyce, Stevens, Dickie, I'm a groundhog baby too. Will that matter? I feel fine. People say I look fabulous. We know the truth. The nasties, invisible, devious little buggers. We know the truth. Nasties always win microcellular wars. I live with cancer, except imminent demise. No different than before diagnoses, except, even with a truce, death infiltrates every possibility. We talked about mortality like a Red Sox game. You prepared magnificently. I believe I'm ready, but the cancer is everywhere. The cancer is everywhere. The cancer is everywhere. Mikey, I'm scared. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Theresa Vincent, we're ready to hear you.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm reading from my home in Asheville. It's especially meaningful for me to be here because I'm a first-generation immigrant, having arrived from my homeland of Malaysia almost 30 years ago. I've chosen to read a poem tonight, written from earliest memory, traveling across the globe with an infant daughter in search of hope. For Patricia Sarah Vincent. What is your first memory? You, having lived in a language before words? Was it a feeling of fitful sleep, dreaming and waking, swaddled and laying in a metal-framed bassinet attached to an interior wall of an airplane, traveling over the polar north and blackened seas? Did you know, infant and separated, that you belonged with me? Or did you already know then that you belonged to a whole world? No country, no border sensed from this vantage point as we hurled through a night to a place, to places where a sun would keep rising. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Group C, come on up. Michael, Carol, Michael, you can come right up. Tamara, Lori Derozier, and Patricia Lee Lewis. I gotta try and coordinate it better. Okay, so reminder to us readers, we need to be pretty close to the mic or they can't hear us on Zoom. And since we're all trying to be famous, that's important that we get heard. Michael Goldman, a wonderful poet influence in our area, is going to read right this moment.
Thank you, Sarah. Just a quick note on this poem. A hologram is a 3D image that's projected through a holographic plate. And there's this phenomenon that happens that if you break off a little piece of the plate and project through that, you still get a full image. This is hologram of the infinite. You are built of bits and leave bits everywhere, just like me. You pick up traces without even trying, in your breath, on your skin, ash from volcanoes, photons from stars. You are a repository, an encyclopedia where the universe can look up anything. You don't need to be self-aware. You just need to look around. Whatever you find was already here. If all else were obliterated, I could be recreated from you. Thank you.
Next up, Carol Freeman.
Oops. Did you like it? Looking for humanity. I've been looking for humanity. I think it was once here, but every place I've searched for it, all I've found is fear. It wasn't in Kenosha, neither in Detroit, or even in Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, Texas, Colorado. So where is it hiding? Where did it go? I asked the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, the neo-Nazis too. I reminded them God crowned thy good in brotherhood and shed his grace on thee. They told me not to worry, that they are keeping brotherhood and grace safe with riot gear, helmets, boots, assault rifles, and with white supremacy from sea to shining sea. With bleeding soul and trembling hand, on bended knee I take my stand. I take the knee for you and me against their white supremacy, against all forms of bigotry, all forms throughout the land. O beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, O beautiful humanity, we need you back again.
Tamara rhymes with Tamara Kaplan. That's how she told me to say it. And I was like, I knew that. But she told me, so yeah. It says Tamara rhymes with Tamara.
Devices to help you remember. Okay. My poem is called 2,000 Pieces. My mother, age 98, slowly assembles 2,000 pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, like years in a life that reveal their secrets beyond pleasure and strife, and gain new meaning, new shape, new color, as each connects one to the other.
Shirzad Saifi was not able to be here tonight, and we didn't even get a copy of his poem to read. So Lori Derozier is up next, and she's ready for action. She's been practicing walking to get up to this stadium.
I was telling Sarah how I was doing. I was walking every day for the last year. So, yeah. Okay. So I feel better than I used to. Like, you look good. Why? It's kind of, oh, there's no more of these. Okay, that's all right. Well, they're stuck. I don't want to be a problem. I'm being a pain, I apologize.
No, you're not. Everybody.
Germ thing, you know. Good job. Okay, so this is from the workshop that Theresa did. It's called Autumn, and there's my face since I wash up the mic. Hi. Oh, it's called, okay, I'm going to move this way because it's omnidirectional. No, unidirectional. It's a Petrarchan sonnet. It's called Autumn. Beyond my windowsill, I see the slant of autumn's light bespeckle orange leaves, red on sumac, yellow maple trees. Artists strive to paint it, but they can't catch nature, naked nature bathed in sunlight's lamp. She sheds her summer clothes immodestly, allows the wind to shake her branches free, to bear and bend, to rain or snow or freeze. And all the while, we worry for the cold. We gather fallen wood to feed our stoves. We huddle for warmth, afraid of growing old, afraid of seasons change, afraid of dying. Our fears obscure our view of autumn's gold. In grief, we choose to hide instead of flying.
Patricia Lee Lewis. We had to email her like 17 times to see if she's coming, and she never answered. And then she's like, midnight last night, she's like, well, I don't see myself on the list. It was something like that. We're so glad you're here.
I'm really sorry.
One of our favorite guys.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm one of your favorite people now. This is my 13th, is it 13 years we've done? My 13th time to do this, I have to say. But I'm not alone, a lot of you, and I know Jane Yolen is among us 13ers, but a lot of you have probably done the same. It's been a privilege every time. Here's my poem. I want to say thank you for these poems, for the promise to write every day and keep the promise, to all those friends who sent love and money and encouragement and appreciation for the Center for New Americans and for the New Americans themselves. May they flourish and bloom in this country with all of its faults, even hatred of the new, different, talented, skilled, hard-working immigrant and refugee families who are also precious and beautiful. Thank you.
Go find your comfy seats. Okay, Group D on Zoom. We've got Amy Dryansky, and then right after that is going to be Kyra Mills, then Michael McDonald, Kate Siebick, and Jean Blakeman. So, you ready for action, Amy?
I'm ready, thank you.
Excellent.
How's this sound? Can you hear me okay?
You sound amazing.
Okay, good. I'm going to read a poem called Getting Rid of the God's Eye my daughter made. And in case not everybody knows what a God's eye is, it's a craft that kids often are asked to make when they're little out of sticks and yarn. It's a triangle. So that's what a God's eye is. The only other thing I think I have to say is I mentioned the Eye of Sauron, which I guess is the evil wizard in one of the evil wizards in The Lord of the Rings. Getting rid of the God's eye my daughter made. except it looks more like the eye of Sauron or the snake in God's garden than any eye I imagine a God would have, if I ever imagined that, which I don't. Because if I think of God, it's as photosynthesis, fractals, migration, light on water. And my daughter is no longer my daughter because she's chosen they, or was chosen, made that way. And they are fluid, the way my God is fluid. One thing slipping gently into the next, one element making room for another. The way it's hard to say exactly when it stops being night, or if teal is blue or green. And the eye they made when they was she is a half-hearted gesture toward obedience. 4 sticks lashed together with masking tape, faded yarn arranged in concentric, vaguely rhomboid shapes. Some camp craft to prove to parents progress is made. This ersatz eye hung from a nail on the porch so long it became invisible, the way things do when we see them every day. Until today, when I saw it, took it down, tossed it onto the kindling pile. They and I will make a fire. It will go up fast. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't it cool how they feel like even bigger than, like, they're just so here. You Zoom people, you're just like here. Kyra Millich, right? Like church,
Yes.
yeah. I'm working it.
Yes.
Just the CH part, not like your church. But okay, maybe you are. I don't know. Just read.
All right, I am calling from California. I am Lori Millman's daughter-in-law, married to Matt Freeman. Met a lot of you at the event, and it's so nice to be here. I love CNOM, and you guys are amazing, so thanks so much. This is called Body Woke. I wake, hair sprawling, dreams lolling, as the songbirds greet the day, rhythm unfurls with the tendrils of sunshine. Delighted in light I go. Step into the night, legs long, hips wide, guard up, hair down. Red leering wakes of lech swarm my stride. Yet carefree and brave, I flow. Awash in the world, my Amazonian bearing blazes forth from each entitled curve. We cross paths, not pasts, share thoughts, not words. The silence speaks violence. My privilege is white, I know. Awake and alive, our collective tapestry takes form. Our big, thick hair covers even bigger brains. Eyes to lips to ears, we weave. Truth alights amid layers of repression. Together, in might, we grow. Mind your manners, or we might just think on you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyra. Michael McDonald. Is he in there?
Thank you.
Voila.
Here I am. This poem was written yesterday, but I also got a late donation, so I figure it qualifies. It's called Imagine. All you need is John Lennon. Imagine, all you need is John Lennon to open many lonesome souls to love on dance floors of rock and roll heaven. I could or even should just end it there. But to be fair, let's collaborate with this instigator of peace and love. Imagine all you need is John Lennon singing something like what you and I might sing if we could ring true as spring and fall, all in love with all that love brings. And all you need is love for all, to love, to laugh, to be happy, to fall in and out of love with yourself and everyone else. Imagine all you need is John Lennon, not in heaven or dwelling in holy hell, but recomposing himself on Abbey Road with magical music, still making love. He loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. He loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Kate Siebig's up next. Hello, Kate. Glad to have you here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kate, and this is my very first poetry reading, and I will be reading a poem that doesn't have a title yet, so if you have suggestions, send them my way. The sunlight in November does not receive adequate praise. The sun wakes extra early these days, rising through our tree line, dancing a magnificent line between pumpkin and apricot, pushing beams through branches, going more and more bare, and still she rises. Stage lighting for autumn's rustling rainbow. The foliage gets the credit, but the work is in her gentle touch. Transforming leaves to stained glass, I too am sometimes left translucent by her gaze. She rises when I don't want to, when my blankets have a nightfall of heft left in them. Does she too sometimes wish to roll over, tuck in behind a cloud? But she pushes on, all molten amber honey, clearing the delicate frosty fractals from my patio stones. And so I rise to greet her, in fleecy slippers, maybe with a hat to tame dream-wrestled hair, a mug of tea cupped in cold fingers. She nods to my effort, illuminates wisps of steam climbing heavenward. This silent morning moment whispers, breathe. She is not the haughty August sun, so bold and brazen and effortless, demanding attention with sunscreen and hats, dominating the conversation, so even when I escape to the sea, the waves have a hard time getting a word in. November's sun is unexpected, her rain waning, but her power delights. The surprising warmth when I push up long sleeves, the harmony she weaves with the wind as leaves come unglued. When she dips behind the maple, I move my chair, following her lead in this waltz, to bask in hospitality I didn't plan for, an old friend popping by, the curl of a baby's fingers around mine, the promise that somehow, still, even now, the light can be found.
Strong read. She practiced. Jean Blakeman, you're on.
Hey. All right.
While Jean Blakeman's reading, can people sneakily from Group E come up here?
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, great. All right. Hi, everyone. The poem I'm going to read is in the form of triolet, which I hadn't heard of until this November. And just to say, it's an 8-line poem, and the first line repeats as the 4th and the 7th, and the second as the 8th, and then a couple other rules, which I mostly followed. Okay. This year, I lost October, then November, though I've always known that time is an illusion. Days got dark and darker, but I really can't remember. I lost October, then November.
No way to say when I felt sad, when tender, as the feelings came and went and did not stay. Such confusion, I lost October and then November, though I've always known that time is an illusion.
I want to see that one. Thank you. That was gorgeous. All right. Next on our list, we have Fungi Chichawangana. Did I do good? I did well. He's one of our writing leaders in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been writing poems that look at how technology affects relationships and how love, romance takes shape in an age where we are always holding a device. Oh, this is called Reading the Will. I leave my comments to Sibo. She can have them all. The few that said I was a beauty, and the ones that ripped me up. And to my darling Andrew, I leave all my followers, my LinkedIn contacts, and every retweet I have ever received. Finally, for Ginny, the password to my vault of Gmail secrets. All the things I could not tell you, you'll find them waiting there. Thank you.
That was cool. All right. Elsa Klein coming up next. Thank you.
This is Villanelle 2021. The Villanelle I write today must outshine all that have come before. Will I succeed? It's hard to say. The Villanelle rules I must obey, and the rhyme scheme I cannot ignore. The Villanelle I must write today. Do you think it's easy, like child's play? No, it's become much more an annual chore. Will I succeed? It's hard to say. To the V goddess, I have to pray. Please give me another. Please, just one more. I must write my Villanelle today. Is this how it's done? Is this the way? There must be Villanelles with rhymes galore. Can I succeed? It's hard to say. Can't let my mind wander, can't let it stray, because I know they're all keeping score. The Villanelle I wrote today, did I succeed? Only you can say.
All right, next we have Sylvia Gover, and she was one of our workshop leaders, and she's been a great recruiter for Center for New Americans and really special leader in our community, and it smells really good after that lemon fresh. Yeah, so come on up, Sylvia. Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you, Sarah and Lori and all the many, many people who made this happen. In the Old Testament, God commands Abraham to sacrifice his son. Just as he's about to lower the knife, an angel speaks, and a ram appears in the nearby thicket. The boy is saved, and the ram is sacrificed. So in the poem I'm about to read, the ram speaks. I am leap and land. I am munch and fight. I am proud and fast. I want grass and sedge. I want soar and push, not stop and stay, not caught, not beat. I know drought and thirst. I know win and mine. I know butt and lock. I love yellow petal. I love group and flank. I'm made of bounce and pinch. I'm made to hold the ground. I know free and far. I know up and up. I smell grass and musk. I smell fate in smoke. I am heavy head. I am strength of neck. I carry warmth and fat. I carry dust and sex. I want life and life. I want sun and climb. In my teeth, young grass. In my mind, blue shine. Now, tangle stuck. In my nostrils, smoke. It's the smell of no and of naked men. I've no taste for them. My horns mean clash and clang. This thicket mocks, my grace detests. Rustle, clumsy dance, human feet of skin. Brittle pillar bones, I want up and out. I've known greater foes, but my strength is spent. Now tinder flame, now their eyes see prey. My hide smells singe. The boy is free, I'm the bound one now. That angel's voice doesn't speak for me. Thank you.
All right, next we have an up-and-coming superstar, or at least someone who seems pretty cool. Maybelle Hidalgo, a middle school student. And are you reading English and Spanish? All right, she's just going to read the English version, but she knows the Spanish version too. She didn't want to go over our heads. Right? Welcome.
The name of my poem is The Move. My small self, confused, clueless, gave abuelita the last hug. My ama, my tia, my abuelita, and abuelito are crying as we give each other the last hug. I'm happy because I think I'm going on a field trip. The new places that I've never seen seemed so beautiful. When night came and I saw we were not going home, I began to panic, but I knew that as long as me and my mom were together, we would be okay. One night went by and we were not home, and then another went by, and then another. Then we were in a room with one door and no windows. I was confused and even scared. When we were let go, Ama and I got on a bus. We went from bus to bus until we arrived at the new place, and it was not home.
Well, that's a couple kinds of bravery. Thank you. Christine Nolan, you're on. And after Christine is going to be Zoom, so get ready, Group F.
This is called Coffee with Kate. We started near a year ago, my neighbor 2 doors up. As we battled isolation, she said, "Come, let's have a cup." We bundled up as it got cold, 6 feet apart with blankets. We sat outside and talked about this strange world we inhabit. About an hour we'd endure on those cold midwinter morns. The company was welcome and our hearts were getting warm. She talked of her house projects and I of food market woes. She and her sis sewed scads of masks to prevent the virus flow. When vaccinations came in March, good news then started flowing. Life turned slightly back to norm, but we've kept the visits going. 2 neighbors living solo with scant human connection forged a friendship in the midst of a dangerous world infection.
Go back to your home seats. Thank you. It's nice to be all in person. This is like amazing. That reminded me of that. Mary Ellen Shawhan. Did I say it right?
Shawhan.
Shawhan.
Pretty close.
Shawhan sounds so sophisticated. Mary Ellen Shawhan, you are on. Thank you.
Thank you. According to my notes, this was written on November 12th, so it's almost a month old. A poem called Commonplace. As a child, the sound of a train's whistle always made me feel it was calling just to me, calling me to leave my commonplace quotidian life, to grasp the rail and take a step up onto the platform, the white-gloved porter taking my other hand in his, pulling me up, forward, onto the train, where I would find an empty seat, where I would sit and either close my eyes and lean my head against the cool, smooth surface of the glass, or sit, hands clasped in my lap, looking out the window, unconsciously holding my breath, waiting in anticipation, waiting for the expected exhaust of steam, and the resulting tug on my innards when the train jerks forward, taking me to another place, where I may or may not be who I was at that moment, and where I may or may not find earthly riches. But whatever happened, I was certain that I would find love along the way, and my life would never again feel common. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have Jendi Ryder next. Jendi Ryder. And after that will be Nancy Mendez, just so you know. All right, Jendi.
Hi, everybody. I spent the winter binge watching The Sopranos on HBO, the show about the New Jersey organized crime. And so I found myself writing a lot of poems dedicated to different characters so that I could call it research. And this poem is called Wise Guys Have No Beards. And it's for Big Pussy Bonpensiero, one of the many mobsters who gets whacked during the course of the show. Yeah, we whacked Santa Claus. Couldn't let him wire his naughty nice to the feds. He wasn't cold before we bent to strip the gold from his neck, so the identifying cross wouldn't show up on some fish-eating taxpayer's plate. Not the face, he said. We understood. We didn't want to see that red crater in the mirror next time we shaved our own. Wise guys have no beards, in case we have to vanish alive. But no one talks about that coward's exit plan, turning into a fat old man in a fake town, pretending you're a saint. So yeah, we rolled our stone-still friend overboard and divided his garments into off-season boxes at the titty bar. The kids still believe it's the same guy bringing them honest toys. They don't read the papers about the polar ice caps becoming mush, reaps of garbage surfacing like his old red suit wrapped in tinsel chains. This heat is the new Christmas, and Easter's a Prozac dick. It never comes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jendi. I'm sure that would be a good book. Nancy Mendez is another student who is graciously going to read for us.
I am a cactus. I am strong and tall. I need a lot of sun. I see the sun and other plants. I want a little bit of water. I sound like a family talking. I am sad when there is no sun. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. All right, Jake Clocker, are you ready? He's ready.
Yes. Okay, this poem is based on a painting by Brianna Blue. It's from the first workshop I went to, called Turned Away. The dreaming boy talks in his sleep. Papaya, 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 he says, and the father fruit feeds him orange fire, sweet jungle fire for his heart. The dreaming boy turns in his sleep. Papaya, 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 he whispers, and the mother fruit gives him black seeds, obsidian volcanoes to plant. The dreaming boy wakes from his sleep. Papaya, 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 he mutters, alone in a country where nobody knows him and nobody dreams how truth tastes.
What an ending. I'm going to have Group G make your way up here. Janet Bowden, you ready for action?
I am, I think.
Oh, good. Yeah, you look ready.
Okay.
Good.
This was a response to one of the early prompts. And thank you for all the prompts. I believe in the ease of despair, how simple it is to slide along the tracks worn into the slope, how quick a tip might stick when you aren't looking. I believe that's how it starts, a cascade, tumbling, speeding up as you go down. The tray of dishes, crash, a star cracking, extending its tendrils across the glass, something in the air finding its arc and coming down. I believe we try to stop it, digging our heels in, reaching out to catch what falls. I believe it lands, maybe safely, in our arms. I must believe this, or why else am I here, holding my arms out?
I love that image. Thank you. All right, back to 3D land. George Cernata, you ready for action? I've been keeping my mask on.
I really don't know how so many people are able to do this thing each year. It always amazes me. I'm lucky if I can come up with 2 or 3 over the space of 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm going to read you this piece. Before I came out the other day, I was talking with my grandkids, having Catholic children. I have a great big collection of grandkids. The wonderful thing is that I'm able to sort of tap them each year They always remind me, Gramps, it's November. Are you doing 30 for 30? And I keep thinking, now which of those will be old enough so that I'll be able to ask them for a donation to the center this coming year? I've run out of kids, and can I get those grandkids in? I don't know. It's going to be tough. Anyway, I'm going to read you just something I wrote about Pakistan. I write a lot of things about when I'm leaving. I spent a lot of time leaving countries. I spent all my life, all 83 years pretty much, from the time I was born, as a migrant, I guess. Dark and windy, en route to Rawalpindi. Pre-dawn uncoiling, shedding snakeskin, riding, winding, speeding down the mountain roads. Leftover British Land Rover, half asleep, one eye, half opened, follows the headlight sweep along the serpentine road. No more sounds of outdoor azam, broadcast wake-up verse from the Quran. No more sparkling, coal-darkened eyes, covered faces under darkened blue disguise. No more overfed, wealthy begums who come and go in the major hotels chatting. While you're up, would you order me an NGO? No more served early morning bed tea, tantalizing, tangy taste of rumble-tumble eggs, breathing intoxication of sizzling, dripping breakfast paratha. No more full body hugs, hearty embraces of smiling, welcome faces of my male sweaty underarms and stained white unlaundered tunics. My seatbelt is on, my face mirrored seeking the dawn. Looking at the foggy window, a 4-year-older face searches to meet that younger face. Pakistan is slipping away, blurring, smaller and smaller below. Thank you.
Ginny Sullivan, who's practically related to me, except we're not. You're on deck. You're on now. Not even on deck. I'm just doing a wipey thing.
Thank you so much. So nice to be here. I'm reading a poem called The Opposite of Nostalgia. And Webster's New International Dictionary defines nostalgia as severe melancholia caused by protracted absence from home or native place. And it notes that that's the first definition and it's archaic. And I think tonight's a good example of how that's absolutely not true. The opposite of nostalgia. Nothing is more like itself than the moon. More written about, more naked. Its light cast through 4.5 billion years onto mastodons, ammonites, the glinting tusks of elephants spied by hunters that wait for them, lumbering toward their watering holes. There are no trees on the moon, no clean running water, no snails under leaves with their tiny mandibles. The moon is empty, its cratered face clear and uncomplicated as its own mineral light. Count the days from half to full to gone. See how it shines
even from behind the clouds. I walk home on a street after dark, holding my first grandson, small, before words, before the bright disk of the moon explodes out of the clouds that wrapped it like a present. He crows out loud as if greeting an old friend in its solitude. "So there you are," he seems to say, "and here I am as well." It's still early. We can't know what will happen to us.
Thank you. Madeline Haber, you are up. I'm like getting really good at it.
One of the reasons I do the 30 poems is to honor my grandmother, who was a Jewish immigrant from Russia and came here when she was 16. And inevitably, she turns up in some of my poems, and this is the one she appeared in this year. It's called Cousins. 60 years later, we are back around a table. When I was 12, several of you took turns sitting on my lap. Some weren't here yet, still on your way to being born, expected. It was expected that the daughters would have children. It was assumed those children would marry and have their own. We were her family, our grandmother's family. We all picture her at the same time, as if we are all in the same dream. We see her smile, hear her words, her laugh. She had a dream. She brought it with her, a young girl on a boat, finding her way here, dreaming us into being. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Grisax next. Oh, I thought she was coming in. Whatever, I don't care anyways. Maybe she can.
Hello?
Is that great?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, read. It'll be like fun back and forth. Grease on, and then it'll be Christine.
Hello. I want to thank Maria Moreno from Center for New Americans for giving me the opportunity to do Poesía Contigo. And I'm going to read a poem. I also like to thank the people who participated in Poesía Contigo. My poem is called Letter to America. Dear American people, it is time. It is time we let go of this established, unjust, biased gender roles and rules women thought of and treated as weak, well-behaved, second-class citizens. You, America, hold man in the light of the strong, tough, worthy of being listened to. The pedestal of man must come down. Man must be held accountable for the system they have created and perpetuated through time. I am the voice of the past. Listen, do you hear me? Respect your mothers. Respect your grandmothers, carriers of the torch and light, holders of the power within. Respect your ancestors. The legacy is your legacy. Respect yourself. I have learned to trust and value myself. It has taken me a long time, and still, I must remind myself. My instinct, my inside voice, looking into my past. My ancestors taking what I learned from their experience. They still live in me, not letting other people define me. Because our experiences make us believe that we are something that we are not. Experiences of what others say about you, what others perceive you are, when the truth is inside of you. That's where you'll find your truth. Your truth inside. Listen. Men, say their name. To Sandra Bland, say her name. To Maria Malala Yousafzai, say her name. To Christine Blasey Ford, say her name. To Ana Caona, say her name. To Eric Mejia, say his name. To George Floyd, say his name. To Kevin Levera, say his name. To Jonathan Tooby, say his name. To Ahmaud Arbery, say his name. To Breonna Taylor, say her name. To Jocelyn Watt, say her name. To Jade Wagon, say her name. To all fallen victims and survivors of hate crime, abuse, and violence, say their names. Do not avoid saying my name. My name represents my identity. Quisqueyana soy, mother and child. My cultural origins, my history, Daca de Africa, Daca de Haiti. My worldview, mi futuro. Say my name. Stand firm, mujeres. You are enough. Believe. Embrace each other. Learn to trust again. Gather your strengths. Know each other and our stories. Our stories have more in common than they are different. In hiding our stories, we stay in the dark. They say, why you waited so long to tell? Why do you have to question? I am evidence. Like las hermanas Mirabal and María Tingó, Trujillo, Balaguer, mi voz, tu voz, nuestras voces will be silenced no more. Because we will roar. Hatred is limiting, divisive, violent, anti-human. Recognize, realize, the pedestal of man must come down, and to this I declare change. Esperanto Virinosh.
Thank you, Gree. We needed that. Yeah, so we're back in person now. Christine Maribel is right here for us. Thank you so much. You are on. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? I'm Dominican, so I could relate to a lot of what Guri say. I'm not a poet, so this is a very amateur poem. It's called Belong. Pink petals beneath a blue moon. Summer lingers despite September ending. The cat prowls in the bushes. Owls call in the dark. Breezes ruffle the grass like my fingers tussling your hair. The hour is late, but the night is young. And stars travel millions of miles just to wink at us. Their eternal light filling the giant sky. Bewitched by this scene, in love with the forces behind it. Entangled in your arms, I am a mere speck, but I too have my place in this universe. I too belong. Thank you.
Thank you. I think she qualifies as a poet. Just saying. Get lost, you guys. Go. Okay, we're back to Zoom, Group H. Ann Humans. And I hope she's ready for action.
So I don't know how many non-writers are in the audience. Maybe you would like a glimpse behind the curtain. This was a poem in response to a prompt, distraction. They say, if you want to know how the writing is going, take a look at how clean the writer's house is. Mopping this isn't procrastination, it's productive. We've got to get to the back of these closets someday. The dishwasher chugs through a cycle. Pause cleaning, the robot vacuum chirps. Device may be suspended. Move to a new position and try again. I try a chair on the porch. Stare at a different neighbor's garage. A breeze tries to riffle pages, but my pen pushes back.
Loved it. Ann Van Dyke, are you ready for us?
I'm ready now.
Yes.
Yeah, so I debated which poem to read and I made a last minute switch. So this one came out of Nerissa's workshop and I want to give a shout out to her and also to Basho. This is called Haiku Biology. An old bowl lies splayed out on the table, amphibian heart exposed for all to see. His froggy legs lie still, no longer able to flex or jump. His purpose is to be a thing for us, mere anatomy. His pond, a distant memory. That pool, a place to furnish a collection. From high above, we stare at his midsection. It seems that we have lost that sweet affection for his illustrious croak. We forget the season, now fading in this glorious age of reason. That summer when his splash was clearly meant to lead us swiftly to enlightenment.
Splash. Thank you, Ann. Aracelis Rodriguez is another student who is reading for us, and it's very exciting to have so many students reading. We have thanks to the community and the teachers for that. So, hi, Aracelis.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm from the Dominican Republic, and my beautiful teacher is Miss Linda. Today, I want to thank Center for New Americans for the big heart ready to help us to achieve our dreams. And thank you for letting me read a little poem. It's dedicated to my husband, my loving husband. And I'm going to read in Spanish first because I want he see this video in Spanish. And it's, you are my mirror. Para ti, mi amor, tú eres mi espejo. Tú eres mi mejor amigo. Tú eres mi sangre, tú eres mi amor, tú eres mi paño de lágrimas, tú eres mi refugio de parte de Dios, tú eres mi mejor compañero, tú eres mi intérprete, tú eres mi compañero de aventuras, tú eres mi primer pan, tú eres mi espejo, porque tú has hecho que me enamore de mí misma. I'm going to read in English. The poem is, you are my mirror. You are my best friend. You are my blood. You are my love. You are my tears clothed. You are my refuge from God. You are my better partner. You are my interpreter. You are my adventure hub. You are my first fan. You are my mirror. Because you have made me fall in love with myself. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for reading both versions of that. That was fantastic. Joanna Whitney, are you with us?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. There you are.
Right. This is a poem I wrote on November 20th. The desiccated field grass, brown and leaning into winter, pulled by the seed weight that still clings, though many have fallen, or become the energy that keeps a sparrow's heart thrumming, even as cold would have it still. It will give everything this year, its legacy of sunlight and chlorophyll spent. Every cold night that dips into frost or early snow pushes life deeper into the roots that would hold the ground where it is, that hold the skeletal frame that summer left, that hold the sparrow's toes as it eats in the slant light of winter coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Gail Thomas, you're ready.
Hello. I just want to say bravo to all the students who read tonight. So inspiring. Thank you.
Yes.
The one I'm going to read is called The Revenant. First bite of sun-warmed flesh after this dry-mouthed, locked-down winter is almost beyond simile. So I ask, are you tomato or angel, blessing my lips with sweet throat-slicked June juice, fingers smeared, spicy and stinging, bare feet and windows open, and hallelujah, still breathing. Like the race point lobster diver, scooped up by a humpback's trolling jaws, mouthed and swished, counting the dark time inside until she spit him out. Kicking up to the surface, he pierced the salty seal, gasping and choking with wonder and hallelujah, still breathing.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Gail. Maureen Kearney, you're on. Meanwhile, can Group I come on up? That includes Dina pretending to be Finn, and Ellen and Amy and Narissa.
Hi there. This is one I wrote challenge, which day in November? Called November Funeral Procession. Dear Miriam Ray, Mother Teresa Calcutta has now welcomed you. Do you remember playing on Savin Hill Beach? Weren't those happy days? From her porch, bee waves. She came here from Karaboy, building life anew. Bee and Ben found love. Mary, Jim, and John raised us. From them 24, here still 21. An hourglass with grains of sand, each a moment now. Do you remember warm sands of Dennisport Beach? Sands of forever. Love goes on and on, Galway Bay to Savin Hill. Life is infinite. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Dina's going to come up and read a poem for Finn, which is also C.D. Finley, who couldn't be here tonight.
This poem by C.D. Finley is called Beauty Covered Like Porches. Where grasses grow blue-green on hillsides, where the moon slides behind, I come from wandering hope unseen, wording the womb of me, building a tent inside myself. There will be a bear who with his oven-mitt hands will love me, tipping full welcome as a guest who comes at last. There will be cake and tea and whiskey, but I am there to eat apples and be home.
Well read, well read. Ellen Miller-Mack, come on down.
Hi, everybody. 69, a birthday poem. 1. I asked my mother about 69 spray painted on the overpasses. I'm 12. She's in bed watching Jeopardy, pencil and a Sunday Times puzzle in her lap. She won't say. In that frightful instant of withholding, I think, 6 down, 9 across, she won't say. If you ask me, it's a mostly comical performance of circuitry. What does it say about our relationship to numbers? She is 37. She won't say. She won't say what she almost saw. She won't say what a zygote knows as it speeds towards it, or a cancer cell that gets her at 69. It's scribbled in the margin of a book on the overpass on Boundary Avenue. A medical mystery shaped like a 6 or 9. A glisten of dew on a spider web. A blinding glint off a motorboat any July 13th. A scrap of lined paper in a puddle says 69. The alphabet has shapes, even letter I, an italic border between us. In a dream, my mother is spray painting overpasses all over Long Island from the air. 69 speaks like a train hurtling me towards the city. Now my mother is straddling the yellow line on the highway. 2. I'm walking on Aquavita Road. The leaves have let go. My lit house is across the field, through the brambly wetland trees. Now home with fogged glasses and blood on my thumb. How did it get there? Old girl, you're 69.
and DiCaprio. Come on down. You guys are doing great. It keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? Yeah, that's right.
No pressure.
No pressure. Sorry, no pressure.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Awesome. This is a little closer, yeah? I don't want to blow everyone away. This is a prose poem and it's called Safe. I had time to cook, objectively speaking, but I'm still feeding one kid 3-day-old quesadillas and the other kid leftover Chinese takeout. I scrape gelatinous sweet and sour chicken onto an unbreakable plate and slide it into the microwave, set it for 55 seconds more than I think it needs just to be safe. I'm pretty sure the older one has suspected all along, but I wonder at what point my younger son will realize that these kinds of meals, increasingly common, are a flailing, an excuse, an apology. And yet the truth is they both love this kind of dinner. Loose leaf leftovers, snacks for supper, mishmash main meal. They high-five sticky hands when I tell them the plan. I can't say why I don't cook. The back left burner of my brain keeps a tight simmering panic that I'm not using my time well, that being afraid of falling is what makes you fall. Working from home, I set a timer for the pinched block of a work from home lunch break, and I tell myself out loud, there is no reason I can't steam vegetables, fold all the sheets, commit to sobriety, do a few sun salutations, and email my father back and tell him, yes, of course I have time to edit your white paper that attributes quote-unquote data on global warming to a decades-long conspiracy theory by the thermometer industry. Ask Mom what I can bring for Thanksgiving. XOXO. My phone alarm dings and I'm hollow, still vaguely hungry. And on the days I go into the office, I realize only in retrospect that the time spent fuming in traffic could have been spent doing Kegels. I'd forgotten all about Kegels. Later, I drive towards the bridge in the 4:59 darkness. My children have been at school for more than 8 hours. I sharply draw in air, smell the car's dusty heat, glare at the red light, pelvic, floor, squeeze. I collect my sons at the eerie empty school, and I am all they want. Hoodies and water bottles peeking out of half-zipped backpacks. We trudge to the car in the inky darkness, holding dirty hands tightly. The two of them talking over each other to announce the day's thrills and then to notice the moon. We arrive home, load the crooks of our arms with lunch boxes, laptops, art projects, grant applications, empty travel mugs, rain boots, and library books. And I'm filled with gratitude that they're old enough to carry things, big enough to breathe this breath of camaraderie, of teamwork. Our weird little team, we hit pop-ups, the sun shining straight into all of our squinting eyes, and each one could just as likely be a home run as a foul. I run like crazy either way, careening around the bases of our evening routine. Every night, a Hail Mary leap towards home plate. I tear my work pants, knock the wind out of myself, and lie, breathless in the dust, waiting for the call. Safe.
So next up we have Nerissa Nields, who is going to play a little music. It's poetic music, trust me. And she also graciously hosted one of our workshops to keep writers moving along, and she's also the reason I ever heard about 30 Poems in November and Center for New Americans. So she's kind of cool.
The very first thing I learned about poetry was that poets write to each other, that the poet writes to his or her elder, and that's how the tradition gets passed down, that poets are a community of the living and the dead. I came to 30 Poems in November because I was inspired and encouraged by my friend Michael Bigner. My first time here was 2009, and I loved it so much I never stopped coming. I'm a songwriter first, and this is a song that came from the poem I wrote on November 29th, getting it right in there. Thank you, Sarah, for your prompts and your encouragement and the building of this community. What do you want? What do you want on the darkest day? What do you want? What do you want on the darkest day? A circle of days, a couple of ways play out. Is this the end of our youth, the moment of truth and doubt? And then it passes by, and we can't remember why we got so worried. Don't hurry through this time, it won't come back. So why does he drink? Why does he think so hard? Is he trying to die or only standing on guard? Because it seems at times he has decided to be blind to the notion that devotion is a game that you can win. But I am trying again. What do you all want from a preacher? What do you all want from a preacher? What do you all want on the darkest day of the year? A circle of nights, a dimming of lights and sounds. Is it the end of our hope, or has it gone underground? 'Cause when the child is finally born, everything will gain a different form, and you won't want to miss it. You won't want to miss it. No, you won't want to miss it. You won't want to miss it. And I am trying again. What do you all want from a preacher? What do you all want from a preacher? Someone who can fill all the bleachers, someone who's their own kind of seeker. What do you all want on the darkest day of the year? What do you want? What do you want on the darkest day? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Thanks, you guys. Well, I'm just crying. All right, back in Zoom land. Thank you so much. We are ready for Carol Reinhardt.
can hear me better than I can hear you, Sarah. Not sure how the sound is working.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying so many great things about you, too.
This is a poem called Dawn Delivery. And I'll just say that I'm very lucky to live in a neighborhood that has no streetlights. A breeze brushes her face. She dozes on the shore of sleep. An urge to check the time is rebuffed by her tender inner mom. A slice of light casts off in silent dark dawn, like an ancient mushoon cutting through still water. Light's luminous eddies slap awake her edges, yet dreamtime holds her deep. A deft early riser flips the morning news. This servant of learnedness, moving to the beat, lands the word just short of the porch, with a percussion of sound and light. Riffling her curtained window, light and shadow make undulant lace, wands of willow alive on the wall. A split second of subversive beauty. Then darkness returns, as if to say no dawn was verifiably invaded. What's fit to print can only imply what may have happened here.
Thank you. Thank you. Linda Neese.
Hey everyone. I don't seem to, because I'm the host, I don't seem to be able to spotlight myself, so I hope you can see where I'm
You're
talking.
spotlighted.
Oh, good, okay. So my poem is dedicated to my students, and it's appropriate because it is about the end of the year. It's called Champion of Letting Go. They had filed into the room day after day for a year, developing skills to live by, lessons that erased the fear. They sat before her, adults, young and old, dreaming, hoping, reaching, racing towards the goal. The day comes each year when they stand at the door, excited to go forward, yet longing for more. It is then that her heart swells with joy and fear. Waving them into tomorrow, she wipes away a tear.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Regina Multiconi. Regina?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Before I read, I just want to thank everyone for their inspiration. My poem is called Returning. You told me I would come back one day, and when I did, returning would be like your silver drop from the sky. Just one jolting descent, no spiraling premonition, only trees, suddenly, bamboo forest and jungle. Rice paddy green opened your eyes, and you saw and felt and tasted death and wounds and blood, but you knew you were alive. Sun burnt into your wounds, loss consumed lives within you, leeches drained your blood. That you were there to fend them off, your small stone like David's sling against jungle's thundering animal sounds and thrashing spiked leaves. nights, you lay sucking rain from salvaged cloth to stay alive. Sure, you would be rescued, life surging through you, roaring in your ears like some glorious possessed choir, which you felt pulsing and sweet and unbroken as breath. Sure to attract someone somewhere, some divinity, some heightened sensitivity at some frontier. And I believed you, because you had hit a mountain, a towering mountain veiled in mists, and survived. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Melinda Underwood from Vermont.
Hi, it's enjoy the flowers. That's what we have to do tonight. What I have is a tiny haiku from day 18, which I think speaks to Sarah's modeling, taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other. And with a poem of only 13 words, each word has to count, and yet the first word doesn't really convey how tiny this bird was. This bird was 2 inches from tail to tip of beak. So can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can, okay. So this haiku is called Respite. Small ball of warbler trembles on the east feeder, takes food, puddle, flight.
Read it again.
Okay. It's called Respite. Small ball of warbler trembles on the east feeder, takes food, puddle, flight.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Dorothy Rhyme, you're up next. Is Dorothy here?
Can you see me?
There you are.
Here I am. Okay. This poem is called Revisiting Dylan Thomas's Villanelle. Do go gentle into that good night. Old age should be at peace at close of day. Do not rage against the dying of the light. Wise men at the end know dark is right. They greet their final days without dismay, and they go gentle into that good night. With open arms they greet the blackest night, knowing all things die, yet all things stay. They do not rage against the dying of the light. Or would you like to end your life like Mr. Thomas when he drank himself to death? He did not go gentle into that good night. He should have known you cannot win this fight. Now, in old age, I'd like a better way than rage against the dying of the light. I'd like to give a blessing of delight to the encroaching dark and find my way by going gentle into that good night, not rage against the dying of the light.
Wow, thank you. What a lovely twist. We have our final Zoom reader for the night, Michael Allen Roach. And then no one on Zoom is allowed to leave after that, just so you know.
Okay. Hi. I didn't know I was that. This is not titled, so it was from one of the prompts. Like a UFO that landed alongside the kitchen wall, the oval form topped with formica, thick silver edge lining its perimeter. I'm sitting underneath, out of sight, easily ignored, forgotten, listening, observing, learning, from voices above, from heads unseen, attached as they are to the torsos of the bodies with the feet and legs that surround my innocent, impressionable, tiny being in life's classroom, beneath the kitchen table.
Oh, the kitchen table. Thank you, Michael. Group K, come on up. And while Group K is coming up, I want to say special thanks to several people in the community who keep spreading the word about 30 Poems in November, including group leaders such as Nerissa Nields and Sylvia Glover, the Forbes Library that has a program, Ellen Duray Watson has some groups, Patricia Lee Lewis has, the Florence Poet Society, Straw Dog is another way which I've learned about this. And Janet Alfs also has had a nice role this year in bringing more students to our reading and bringing new voices and allowing us to hear different language. So I really appreciate that we've been able to hold that along with our fundraising goal. So I really want to send out those thanks, and thanks to everyone who spreads word by word of mouth about this organization and this fundraiser. And I'm so happy to be part of this community. And we have 5 more readers, so no pressure, but they're going to be awesome. And is it Julie Cavaco or Cavaco? Cavaco. Yes. All right. Here we have Julie Cavaco.
Okay. So about 2 months ago, a refugee family moved into my town, and I got swept in happily welcoming them. And so I wrote a short poem in this form that I created, because I figured if people can create forms, why can't I? And the other day I decided to add to it because the relationship has grown and I found out more information. So I'd like to share with you at 6 months. At 6 months, my girl carried lakeside with autumn in her glory. At 6 months, your father was martyred. His younger brother stepped in, good-hearted, and you never felt fatherless. Yet, refugee was in your future. At 6 months, I had my family near, nestled in our privilege. At 6 months, your family was scattered. In truth, it was like you were littered, and your son was born countryless. Now, refugee, I will carry you.
All right, and next up we've got Jenny Ladd, who has also been a strong participant for years, and grateful to have you here again.
Good evening. This I wrote on the last day, November 30th, because as I was walking with my friend on the 29th, I learned that Marty Nathan was quite sick and very close to death, and that she died on November 29th. So this is for Marty Nathan, an activist in our community. Pumping energy, voice of fierce love for planet, uplift the margins, tend to the cast off, mend the wounds of down and out, money to justice. They had a dog, there was a garden, she read books, loved children, grandbabes. Grateful for her life, her strong heat sparked others, focused righteousness. All left behind now, finished with incarnation, spirit becomes light.
Thank you, Jenny. That was quite a loss. Jonathan Wright is up next, and he's been another good old regular we're glad to have writing.
It's one of those times when I'm grateful to have a single syllable last name. My wife will tell you that sometimes my nights are as busy as my day, and a nap is necessary, which is to say my dream life is active. So I'm going to read you Beneath the Bridge. Okay. Like we were talking earlier, nice and slow. The highway bridge rises out of the lush farmland, over the buildings crowded below, and crosses the river, touching down on the island with no exit, curving on into the small city. Who would notice this village, its maze of rutted streets and coffee shops, more than a dozen Asian restaurants, small hotels with dusty saffron-lit lobbies, food carts with salty pretzels and falafel, Greek wraps and fruit pops on every corner. Old-timers with donkey carts, wheels creaking in the failing light, bring fresh artichokes, garlic, tomatoes, and field greens into town. On the bench under the frost-brightened maple, I wait for my ride. The departure time has not been arranged. Overhead, the tire whine of long-haul trucks, their streaks of running lights, ribbons on the polished blue sky. In the early morning hours of my slowly breaking sleep, the pungent smells of river-bottom grass, backyard animals, and frying fish fill the corners of my bedroom. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Lynette Sweeney, another writer who's been influenced and by my side during some writing over the years, and I've always loved to hear you, so thank you.
Thank you, everyone who stayed. It's wonderful that you're here. And thank you, Lori, for always responding to my emails so generously and kindly. And thank you, Sarah, for all your prompts. And thank you, poetry community. I am so proud to be a member of you. Should I take this off? Yeah. All right. I wrote 30 poems of gratitude, which wasn't hard at all. I started with being grateful for civil rights and feminism. And then I wrote a poem I started to write a poem about being grateful I was able to birth children, and it turned into this. A miracle can never be forced. What a miracle this body is. I starved and cinched it, hated and pinched it, then it was home to life. How alien my body became, taken over, made into a cave, happily docile, the babies to tame, as it bumped and twisted inside me. I even loved my stretching form, glad to grow fat until it was born, proudly plumping to keep him warm, so pleased to have my body worn. How wondrous our connection, as our holy bond possessed us. I gladly gave up rest and space to form the marvel of his face. But invade my body as a field, insist my crops are yours to yield, make my uterus a thing you wield, and the miracle is over. I'll embrace my body, house my welcome child inside it, but you can't force me to be pliant. My womb's not yours to conquer. I'll have my babies when I want to. Fuck your laws return to haunt us. How dare you think you've any right to say what grows in me tonight? The real miracle is my ever agreeing to let a parasite thrive in me, that I give up my body so freely, that's the revelation. So you who quote the Holy One to justify the harm you've done, please know the miracle of love comes from our choice to be mothers. Thank you. And now up, the final poet of this evening, Sullivan.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you. That's it. That's me. I have a poem. And then you're all free to go. Can you guys hear me on Zoom? Okay, good. I probably should have done that every time. Thank you, Millminster, for getting us through this month. She doesn't go to bed, which is really annoying, but at least she wasn't my mom, so. You're amazing. I don't know how you do it. Okay, now back to me. This is my last for the month. Tired of not recognizing myself, I hear poets. In order to dress yourself today as yourself, you must retire this life to the back of the closet, further than you think you can reach. Protect your future self beyond your ironed outfits, behind crushed where sweet light will forget to ever search. Your face is creased like mine. Give up on smoothing things over. Give up on trying to hold back time and the hoarded baggage you've gathered up till now. Time to emerge from skin cream, diction, fashion. Stuff it all into that chasm in the corner of the closet. Step back out, shut the door. Don't lock it. Soon enough, you will return, craving to cast off more. We did it. Thank you so much, everyone. There's sweet stuff out there, and yummy seltzer, and make sure to eat it and drink it. You're allowed to take your masks off while you eat. It's a cool new trick. Yeah. And so happy that we were all here together. Thank you. Thank you, everyone on Zoom. When you read, it was like you were here. And the fact that we could see your faces while we read was really wonderful also. So just thank you. And if you guys are nearby and want snacks, hurry on over.
Bye, everyone.
We did it. Thank you. And thank you for that poem for Marty.
I was hemming and hawing and you sent me that email. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm so glad you did.